Good morning, YouTube. It's your boy, Maverick Raven, and I'm hitting you up here with kind of an impromptu video. See, on Twitter slash X, whatever you want to call it, this story was making the rounds, and I thought, because I thought it sounded familiar, but I wasn't, things like this happen unfortunately so often nowadays that you never know. So this story was going around, and as you can see, it's almost a year old. So I mean, don't get me wrong, it was bad. It was a horrible thing that this freaking teacher, this monster, did, in my opinion. But see, here's what I wanted to show you, and I want you guys to see this. I was looking for stories about these teachers who are pedophiles and basically destroying our children, corrupting our children. And full disclosure, I'm a parent. I have two kids. I have two daughters. I have a 21-year old. I have a 7-year old. And I always tried to be objective. I tried to be impartial. I tried to be one of those honest parents that knew my kid wasn't perfect. But see, the thing is that a child is like an empty vessel, right? All you do is fill them up with your good, your bad, your insecurities, your strengths, your weaknesses, all that good stuff. Parenting is hard, man, and I say that not to try to you know, tell you something that you don't know. Parenting is hard. It was a lot harder than I ever thought. It's still harder and harder every day, especially now. And the reason why I say that is because check this out. I was here, I was trying to figure out what was going on with this damn story about this pedophile, these pedophile teachers, right? So check out what happens. So I go on Google, do my typical, due diligence and my research to bring you guys the news. Kind of, I don't want to be the uninformed ass, who's just basically saying all sorts of stupid things without having any type of research. This fine specimen that you see on the screen, and that's me being sarcastic as hell if you didn't, if you weren't able to pick up on that. This guy's name is Ryan Hamill, and he stands accused of basically being a predator, a child predator. He was a teacher, he was a YMCA employee. He basically tried to ingrain himself wherever he could get these kids. Now, your guess is as good as mine. Chances are it's an educated guess, and chances are, you know, the reality is the guy was probably trying to be in a position where he could groom his next potential targets. Sadly, and I say that I don't say that with you know an easy manner. It hurts me to say it because the reality is that I think that when you hurt a kid like this, when you do something so horrible, you're robbing a child's innocence. It's worse than murder, in my opinion, because that child is never the same. And if you do this thing, this guy was a middle school teacher. That means what? That his students were 10, 11, 12, something like that, right? Imagine that, man. Imagine having a 10-year-old and now their lives are ruined and they're going to be filled with therapy bills because this little stupid 22-year-old punk had to just, not understand what it's like to have an adult life with normal adult relationships. Now, as if that wasn't bad enough, right? Then I'm looking at this. This is Central Florida, and I live in Central Florida. And this guy here, well, it's not funny. It's actually kind of tragic. I was looking for this. This is what I was looking for. And in looking for this gentleman here, because I didn't remember his fucking last name, look at what I find. Another teacher. Another teacher from Central Florida recently arrested for sexual offenses. Now, I don't know what to do anymore. Thankfully, my 21-year-old is done. She doesn't have to worry about being groomed or being molded to be the next target for one of these people, groomed, But my 7 year old is still there, man. My 7 year old still has to go through the system, and my 7 year old has some speech difficulties. We take her to speech therapy. She's got something called apraxia, childhood apraxia, and that basically means that it's a neurological condition, and her speech doesn't work the way yours and mine works. She has to work extra hard to make the sounds that we make, and some sounds she has trouble with and can't make them at all in any way. So she's kind of a you know an immature 7 year old. So you're gonna tell me this fat fuck is could be around my 7 year old and she would have no idea. She would have no ability to tell me, Daddy, this fat fuck took pictures of me, or this fat fuck touched me, or this fat fuck whatever. And I'm not trying to be lewd. I'm not trying to make light of the situation or anything. What I'm trying to do is, I guess in a way I am venting. I guess in a way I am kind of crying out into the void. Guys, ladies, gentlemen, let's get into this very briefly. This needs to stop. We need to push the people that are supposed to be protecting our kids to protect our kids. But more than that, you need to become active in your kids' school, in your kids' schoolwork. You need to be able to know that your kid is going to be safe at school. Because at the end of the day, they're there to learn. And even though schools have kind of become modern day indoctrination camps, that doesn't mean that it should be accepted. But then on top of that, now we've got the problem of where our kids are now being targeted by monsters like this guy. And you know what? I'm going to be honest with you. I don't 100% cut myself off to these maps, as they like to be called now, right? A minor attracted person. This is a pedophile. Maps belong on walls. This is a pedophile. We need to be able to call a spade, a heart, a heart. We need to be able to address these situations honestly. And if we can't even talk about the problem because I have to pussyfoot around, oh, I can't say this, I can't say that, then what's the point? My channel just started. My channel's minute. But that doesn't mean that I'm gonna stop talking about things like this when they piss me off. And yeah, you can bet that I'm gonna be bringing up these types of issues if I see anything even a little suspicious. If I see anything the slightest bit sus, I'm not gonna tolerate it. Anyways, I got some more news articles coming your way. Some stuff happened with Disney that you guys should check out. But that video should be uploaded in about an hour or two. If you can, please like, share, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff, all the good stuff. That Twitter and YouTube love us to promote. If you would please do some of that good stuff for me, I really appreciate it. Join the flock if you can. On Twitter, my tag is at MaverickRaven21. I'd love to hear from you. I'd love to meet you guys. Be safe, guys. Be good to one another. And always stay based.